Okay, so here we are. We're recording again. Now, these paperwork, I don't know if you guys can see this, all of this is available for you guys to print out online, okay? It's called Step Up Your Business. It is under the Training and Resource tab. There is a leader's guide, which when you're a director above or a leader, you have access to different parts of the website than a consultant. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I could never be a director. I wouldn't know what to do. They give you everything you need. So don't worry about it. And so there are play sheets here that you guys can be printing off. So I'm just going to read scripted right from here so you can see what's going on. 5 getting acquainted questions. Question number 1. Tell me, why did you decide to meet with me today? Look at that. I even had it right without the sheet. I guess I'm doing that part right. And then you want to find out their level of interest, okay? Find out why they're thinking about doing this. So I was going to give an example, but I don't want to give a personal example because she'll be listening to the recording and she might not want me to share. Question number 2, have you ever done anything like this before? So tell me, Marcy, have you ever done any direct sales or anything like this before? And I'm using Marcy because I'm looking at her. So you want to find out if they've ever done direct sales before because they've either had a positive or a negative experience. So I'm going to use one of the girls on our team because I think this is a great example, and I won't use the company that she did it for. At a show, she asked me 1,000 questions. She just berated me with questions. She had worked for a direct sales company, and she had to recruit 2 people, and both people had to be active in the same month before she received any commission. So she sold for 2 years and never received a commission check. 0. 2 years, because she had one person active and then the next person was active, but the first person wasn't active. And she said she did the jig. She just hit her $12.50. She's on my team. She just hit her first $12.50 and she got 100 PC dollars and she got the rock for free and she got a commission. She was like, oh my God, she's so excited. So you want to find out what their experience is, because if they've had a negative experience, we want to be able to address it. And if they've had a positive experience, we want to draw on that and say, oh my gosh, that's great that, you did, Princess House years ago for, 10 or 12 years. And that experience is really going to help you coming into Pampered Chef because you understand how direct sales works. And so you want to draw on the positives of that. Next question is, what other work experience have you had? So let's say they haven't had any experience with direct sales at all, but they say, I work as a receptionist at a doctor's office. Okay. You're going to try to pull in whatever their previous work experience is and see how that relates to what they're going to be skill sets that are going to be helpful in Pampered Chef. So if they work as a receptionist, you're going to say, great, you understand good customer service. We're in a customer service business. You don't have to worry about the cooking and the presentation part because that's all stuff that we can teach you, those type of things. Question number 4, what clubs and organizations do you belong to? Are your kids involved in any sports? Kind of get to know them. When I'm doing this on the phone, let me tell you, I have a piece of paper and I am rattling off all kinds of things. So if they say, I go to church, I'm writing down church friends. And then they say they go to the gym or, I am in a knitting guild. Great. I'm writing down all that stuff. Oh, my kids play softball and lacrosse. I'm writing that down because this is where they're going to get all of their shows from. And this is where they're going to be drawing for their grand opening show. So these are all questions that once you know what to ask, and honestly, I have a Join Us brochure and there are stickers that I can make available to you guys, and it literally says stick it on page 1 here. And if you're doing it on the phone, you could be looking at the Join Us brochure and reading the stickers page by page while they're looking through a Join Us brochure that you emailed them page by page. It's great. Question number 5, I'm curious, how would your family feel if you decided to do something like Pampered Chef? Huge question. I used to skip this. This is a good review for me because you want to know what kind of support they're going to have on their side. Is their husband going to be helpful? Are they going to be able to share with them information when they're getting ready to go out the door and their kids need a bath? Is the husband like, oh, I can't believe that you're going to be spending money to start a business? You want them on board. And so you want to know how their family is going to feel about it because you want to overcome any obstacles that the husband might have before they signed. So here's what I would say. If she says, well, you know, my husband, you know, is kind of a, we'll just wait and see kind of guy, I would say, well, what kind of objections do you think your husband might have? Because she's probably going to know. And so she's going to, you know, ask you those questions. So you're going to give her the feedback that she needs to overcome that. And then I always say, you know what, guys ask the best questions. They're going to ask things that we women, we could care less about. So I recommend that we do a 3-way call on the phone, and we get your husband on the phone, because he's going to ask some questions that you're not going to know how to answer, and he really needs to hear in order to be a support to you. Marcy's smiling, so maybe that's the case that happens at her house, right? So they do. They ask questions that I could care less. I don't know. But now that I've been doing this a long enough time, I do know, and my husband cared about it. So it's important enough to address those to help the woman to be successful. So those are the 5 questions about getting acquainted when you sit down for your recruiting interview. Then you're going to discover the dream. I noticed that we have 8 minutes or so left before our recording is done. If we run out of that 8 minutes, we can click back on and we'll finish up under the same link, and I'll just keep recording and patch them together, okay? So discovering the dream, this is their why. And what I want you to do for drawing, I'm gonna have you draw a circle. I think this is the one I'm having you draw, a circle. And in the circle, did I not print that one out? You're going to do a cross through the circle too. So there's going to be a circle, and then there's going to be a cross. I'm pretty sure it's this one. And I'm going to tell you what to write on the sides of it as soon as I find it. Oh, I bet you it's in my leader one. Oh. Girls are so patient with me. Thank you. Oh, you know what? I bet you that was session 4. I originally was going to be doing 4, and Debbie was doing 3 last week. And so she's going to talk to you guys about that next week. So you want to discover their why. It's important to know, and this is part of it, is in the center of your circle, you're going to write why. Why are they doing Pampered Chef? We all need to know that. If Marcy doesn't know, if I don't know, if Michelle doesn't know, if you don't know why it's so important for you to do Pampered Chef, when things get tough, and they will get tough, you're going to want to quit. And so with direct sales, I need to just remind you, direct sales is like a roller coaster, okay? You're going to have some months that you're going to be on the top of everything. Your sales are going well. People are recruiting. They're interested in the business. Everything's falling into place. All your shows are like $600-700, and you're just like, whoa, this is awesome. And then you're going to hit a roadblock, which happens to all of us. So I'm telling you now, 20% of your shows will cancel or reschedule. It doesn't make you feel any better. I still, years later, get all bummed out when I get a cancellation. I have a cancellation for this Friday night, and I was so upset. So like now I'm scheduling a girls' date out with my girlfriend so that it's not so bad. But like I know 20% is going to cancel, and yet you still have to prepare for it. So when you know your why, my first year, my why was I had to be on that cruise to Italy. I had to be there. So if your why is I have got to be at Disney, then you need to know what that why is in there. If it is, I need to be able to quit my job, or I don't want to do my second job, I want to do Pampered Chef. You have to know your why, because then you can take action steps to achieve that. So sometimes people's whys are pay off their debt, or pay for a mortgage or car payment, education, family expenses. I'd love you guys to unmute yourself and engage and tell me what your whys are. Come on, Marcy, what's your why? There you go.
Okay, I have several whys. One is financial freedom. 2, my husband's sitting over here listening, and we want him to be able to retire quickly. He has a very physically demanding job, and it's hard on his body. So I really, really want that for him.
Excellent. And see, that why is so important. When my husband hated his job, I wanted him to have the option that if it ever got so bad and you need to just quit and walk out, that I'm making enough money that you can do that. So
Right.
Like for me, I want to make about $75,000 to $100,000 a year consistently so that he can, if he needed to, walk away from his job.
Yep.
So, yes. So when things are tough and you're like, then you look at your husband and you go, this is why I'm doing this. He deserves this. I'm going to do it for him. How about you, Michelle? What's your why?
My why is my 2-year-old son. I need to have money to, have that little bit of extra, and also make sure that I'm able to be home and be here with him, because can't put him in daycare, can't send him to the grandparents' house all the time. So I like being able that I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I need to stay that way.
That is awesome. And that is such a great thing to be, a stay-at-home mom. I was blessed to be able to do that with my kids. And I got to tell you, I worked for 3 months when my son was 2. And I saw the difference between a working mom with my son and a stay-at-home mom. And I got them during the cranky hours. You got them up, you got them to school. Then all the good hours during the day, which I knew I was missing because I was home with them the whole time, the fun time, my girlfriend had him. And then I came home and picked him up at 5:30, which was the beginning of cranky hour. We used to call it swing time when they were little. You put them in a little swing back and forth. And then I had them all the way till bedtime. So that's a really great why. So you know that you'll be able to look at him and know that, yes, there are going to be difficult times with this, but we can overcome those difficult times if you are consistent and persistent. I tell my team, if you're willing to work and you're willing to learn, all of this information is online or available through our team trainings. Okay, so I'm really glad that you got your whys out there. So then what you're going to do is you're going to bring them back to their why when you're talking with them about how they're going to achieve their goals. So you need to put their whys into action steps. So like, all right, how much income would you like to have each month? So if I want to make 100,000, I need to know how much a month, and then we break that down even further, which is how much per show or how many team members. So my husband is actually helping me with an Excel spreadsheet and a little team chart as to, okay, if I want 200 team members with a 50% active rate, like we're trying to figure out how many we need to do so I can figure out how many years down the line it's going to be. So you want to be able to break down your goal into monthly steps. So whether it's how many shows, how much money you need, those type of things. So we'll be able to give action steps to it, so you know whether you're hitting your mark or not. It's all about goal setting, and there's a goal setting training online that I recommend you do. So we are less than 2 minutes from here. So what I want to do is I'll stop at this point. I'll stop the recording. I'll log us all off, and then just re-click the link, and we'll come back on and we'll finish the last 30 minutes on a new recording. All right?
Sounds good.
Okay.